That wasn't interesting. That was like disgusting.
What was that?
Yeah, what's that?
That was me
That
talking
was-
about the Cowboys game.
Yeah, that was.
I heard the voice. I didn't see your face moving.
Yeah.
What?
That's how the intros work, Jeff. Haven't you? All these episodes, and you thought that I've just like been like, "Hey, Adro, can you say something about farts real quick before we start?"
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, that was a joke that I don't think anybody heard during the live talk or the live show, because we were all talking kind of at the same time, and Bob just said it randomly, and I stopped like 8 times as I was editing it, trying to bring it up a little louder because I thought it was the funniest thing. Because Adro's over here celebrating, and then Bob's just like, "That's not interesting. It's disgusting."
This is during the sports talk, though, when I was kind of zoning out.
You
Yeah, when
literally
you were
left.
falling asleep.
When I was like, let me Google some shit real quick.
Yeah. So I thought that I don't know. I liked that.
What city do Raiders play in?
Right.
What sport?
How do you spell R-A-I? Hold on, dude. I'm going to
Yes.
make a joke real quick.
Adro's favorite team is the Raiders, who play in the middle of the desert, which makes perfect sense for a seafaring culture.
Yeah, well, they used to be from the Bay, so
Yeah, just like the pirates in Pennsylvania. A lot of pirates in Pennsylvania. Jeff's looking it up.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to VM Live. I'm Jack Rollins. I was going to say the host with the most, but I'm not that cocky, so I'll be like the second most. And with me is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jeffrey Hoffman. How you doing today, dude?
I'm good.
Okay.
Today's been a day. I'll get
Yes.
into that.
Yes,
been
we
good.
will.
Been good.
Okay. And with us always, or with us as well, is admin Bob.
Hey,
What's going on, man? I just can't get over how good that sounds. Say it again.
hey.
Hey.
hey,
The audio
hey.
quality. Not the hey itself, but the...
No. I couldn't care less what he said. It's just the fact that I can
Whatever he
understand
says
what he's
sounds
saying
good.
this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds better with the mustache.
Yes, it does. It was the mustache that did it. It had nothing to do with the new microphone. It's just, yeah. And then we have our buddy Adro here. What's going on, dude?
Oh man, just trying to keep a positive attitude. It's been a busy work week. Glad it's Friday.
Yes. I hear you.
Same.
See, I'm pretty much a freelancer. So that whole like Monday to Friday thing is just, it bugs
Did
me
you know
because
where
it's
that term
completely
came from?
irrelevant. Monday to
Freelance?
Friday? Oh, freelance?
No.
No.
When you, and I might not be repeating this right, but when you're a knight, you have your lance is it's what dedicated to the king or whatever. It's under the queen or the king. So that one's dedicated, but your other one is a free one. You have a free lance.
Oh,
We just lost half our audience.
My explanation sucked, maybe. Right.
Nice.
I like that.
2 lances.
I don't know.
That sounds kind of personal.
yeah. It's none of your damn business.
It's Friday. You can do whatever you want, man.
All right. Now this is more so for the video viewers. I see your cup, Bob. I got my festive cup as well.
Yep.
Be merry. Mine's just a snowman. What's Adro got?
Wow. What do you SpongeBob?
SpongeBob.
What is that?
It's a SpongeBob apple juice. There you
Apple
go.
juice. Okay.
That's
This
awesome.
is hot cocoa with Baileys.
Hot cocoa with
Okay.
Baileys. Okay.
That sounds really good.
Have you
it
tried
is
any
really
of the flavored Baileys with the hot cocoa? You can
No.
get them in little gift sets, and they'll be like cherry and vanilla and all these little different flavored
I didn't know
ones.
there was different kinds.
Yeah, there's a ton of different kinds of Baileys. I don't think they do them in the full size bottles, but yeah, they're awesome in hot cocoa. I'm drinking the end of the cognac from a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
And what about you, Mr. Jefferson?
I have Talisker Scotch,
Oh,
Okay.
which I just got this week. So the fact that I'm not finishing something up from 3 weeks ago should give you a pulse on my self-medication. The fact that I don't have the bottle from 3 weeks ago says something. But
Or you just like
It's good.
scotch.
or I just like Scotch.
Yeah, just a real awkward moment now. We're just watching you.
drink
Drink.
slowly.
Watching
Yeah,
me.
like
See
Jeff,
those
maybe you should
feelings? They're gone now. Look, they're gone.
you should put that glass down. I don't know.
Yeah.
Damn holidays.
Before we started the episode, we were talking about barbers and hairdressers because Bob had said that his hairdresser had followed us on TikTok.
And was hot.
Yeah, and was hot. And I thought, when you say hairdresser, usually, and this is bad, but I mean, statistically, it's probably true. Usually you mean a female. But Jeff said that you have a hairdresser, not a barber, that is a male.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He tells people he's in construction because
Hair construction.
Yeah. Well, because he's the picture of what I'd consider masculinity. Like you would picture, like, he's jacked. He's absolutely jacked. Tattoos, muscular, beard. He looks like a fucking Viking. And I've known him for 10 years. He's like really badass looking. But yeah, he's a hairdresser. Yeah.
So that means he has a cosmetology license and not a barber license. Okay.
I'm guessing. Yeah, because I asked him, I was like, can you ever do that, like with the straight razor? He's like, no, I'm not licensed to do that, because I guess you need a different licensure for that. So.
Yeah, it's weird because I went to a place, like I used to have a full-on, real barber, and that was awesome. Like you didn't ask questions. You walked in, he cut your hair, and you paid $8 and he left. But I had a hairdresser for a while, and it's funny because they can't cut the top part of your beard because they're not licensed to, because this is actually very, like, the skin's sensitive, so they could cut you pretty easily, but they can cut down here.
Really?
And I'm like,
wait, that hairdresser can?
Yes, somebody with a that's what I was told anyway. Somebody with a cosmetology license can't cut like your cheeks, but they can do your neck. So like if somebody cuts you here, it hurts. You know what I mean? Like it hurts a lot.
Yeah.
And it would probably bleed. But yeah, but this is also kind of important. And it just seems like I think you guys got that reversed. Have you ever had a straight razor shave before?
For sure.
Just on the back of my neck. That's what she did tonight.
Oh, okay.
No, it's glorious, but I need a check, cause I got a barber, Big Day. And so I don't know if that fool's been to school or any sort of license.
That's his name?
Big Day.
Here's the question. Does he do it out in the front porch? Because if he does, he's probably not licensed.
Well, funny thing is that, so during the pandemic, we all just started going to his house. So it was in his garage.
My first barber from when I was a child, he was my dad's barber. My mom actually has like the VHS tape of my first haircut, because she didn't get me my haircut till I was like 2. So it was real long. Yeah.
Come here, Jack.
And his was, yeah.
Yeah, with the arm, it was just like,
and his,
dude, you got all the kid gear.
Motherfucker's got props over here. Like,
he's got like cups.
I was ready for Jack's story.
Yeah. But his was actually, it was in his house, and he had like a separately built just studio, whatever you call it. And I thought it was the coolest thing is he cut like a little hole in the wall so his kids could like open up this swinging door and ask him a question or something like that. And it was right in his house. It was really cool. I mean, it was just a 1-seater, but Jeff, you gotta get like the full, the full straight razor. Cause that's how when I shaved my, cheeks and stuff regularly down to the skin, I would use either a straight razor or a safety razor, and even doing it yourself is like luxurious compared to
the sound of it. It's like,
it's so nice. And then there's I would really only do, cause it does take a little bit longer and you have to be a little bit more sure of yourself. But, so I do it on the weekends, and then you get, the soap, and then you're using the strop like up and down the, and then
what does that do?
That's just that's like it doesn't sharpen, you know what I mean? But it's like if you're about to sharpen a knife. Yeah, like how you have to sometimes get like kitchen knives professionally sharpened, or you have like a professional sharpener, but then sometimes you just do them on that one thing just to kind of get them going a little bit. It's the same thing. So it's kind of cleaning, kind of sharpening up a little bit. But yeah, I had that hanging down off my door. And I do the soap in the cup. It was my dad's like old Spice cup from when he had it, or when he would do it. One time I shaved my head that way too. I literally shaved my head with don't ever do that. Razor? Don't ever do that.
Yeah, but say, dude. Cut like your brain.
I didn't cut myself as much as I thought I would, but I was in like a Travis Bickle Taxi Driver mood when I was shaking my hair, and I buzzed it down and then thought, oh, I'll just keep going, and I didn't have a regular razor.
When was
so
that? I can't picture you with the bald.
3 years ago. I'll find a picture. I look.
Oh, we got to get a pic.
Yeah, I look scary as hell.
Your
It's
hair
on
grows fast then.
Yeah.
Because-
Yeah, I went from bald to ponytail in probably, I don't know, 2.5 years. But I did it. No, I did it 1 year as a kind of a joke for Movember, because I said that I was trying to even out, you know, my beard or whatever, or my mustache, and I just kept going. But I look mean as hell with the beard and then just the bald head. Like I look, yeah, it's not.
You know who
not
else
pretty.
looks mean like that is Naco. Dude, he looks badass, man. Like with the he's got a shaved head, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
And with he's got a good look.
Yeah, but then that big
Definitely.
smile, man.
He's such a big teddy bear, man.
We need him to show more of him, like on his Instagram. He needs more pictures of himself.
Yeah.
Because it's just pictures of his watch at the gym. And
the Stairmaster,
yeah,
whatever he
uses, and it's like, this is how far I went. Which is great that he does that, but like I want more pictures of him like in everyday life, like at work, you know, in the car or whatever.
Oh, at work would be so funny.
I'm still convinced that he listens to the shows and does the live talks while he's at work at the gas station or the
Call center.
And like he's telling people to shut up so he can listen to us.
Like right now.
Yeah. Is he? I don't even know if he is listening. He'll listen later, I'm sure. But
Excuse me, I got to put you on hold.
Are all of his like questions of the day like questions that like his customers ask him?
That's going to happen one of these days. He's going to be texting it in while he's listening to a customer. So our question of the day one time is randomly going to be, do you guys have any Pall Malls?
Virginia Slim, sir, a pack, a case.
Yeah, $18 on pump 7. Oh, wait, that's my question.
My as a kid in high school who he started smoking, and we all went out to Michigan. You know, he went with my family to Michigan one year, and he was I think 17 at the time, so he couldn't buy his own cigarettes. And so he asked us to buy cigarettes for him, or he gave us the money, and we went. And so instead of buying him Camels or Marlboro Reds or whatever, we did buy him a carton of those Virginia Slims. Well, that was back when a carton cost you like $30-$40. Like now it's like no way.
I know. You got him like 10 packs.
I know. Well, it was for a whole week, so it was like now we don't have to worry about it. Now, by the way, he finished that carton in 4 days. But he was so mad at us because there were those. I don't know if you've ever actually seen the Slims up front, but they are so small. I mean, they're like the same length.
Slims is what we call them.
Yeah, but they're probably I don't know, half the amount of a regular cigarette, maybe. I mean, they're
diet cigarettes.
Oh.
Yeah, like if somebody gave you a joint that was that size, you'd be like, "What are you doing?" You know what I mean?
Which is
like,
funny because tobacco's an alcohol, appetite suppressant. So if you have less, you probably, it's not exactly a slim diet thing.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't think of it that way. I just thought they probably, I mean, it's 100% marketed toward, but he sat there that whole week in front of my extended family, trying to look tough and stuff with his
Smoking like a pencil.
Yeah, it's smaller than a pencil. I mean, we're talking like I can't even like a straw, like a coffee stirrer. That's about as thick as they are, And then since we had to buy him another carton, we got him regular cigarettes. But then and I don't even think you can get these things in person anymore. But we bought those little prank. They're like little sticks of dynamite, actually, that you stick inside cigarettes and cigars. And what happened was you light and it just goes psh, and it just ruins a cigarette. Well, we couldn't find any of the ones that were meant for cigarettes, so we bought the ones that were meant for cigars, and we loaded one out of every pack.
What?
Yeah, they're
these things?
Yeah, they're these little. It's
poppers.
Yeah, it's almost like a little stick of dynamite, just tiny, and you stick it inside, and so when the fire hits, it just would go like a cartoon and would blow up the cigarette. Well, we got the ones that were strong enough for cigars, and so, because we didn't see the cigarette ones, and so he would light these things up, and one out of every pack, just boom. You know what I mean? It looked like a cartoon. Like there would just be tobacco flying everywhere. The paper would like shred up, and a couple of times he got and he couldn't tell which one it was, and he just kept going. Like I would be so terrified of my mouth blowing up. And so,
That'd
yeah,
be
we'd just be
scary.
sitting there randomly, and all of a sudden you just hear pop in the middle.
That's the
My family
addiction,
look
bro.
over. Yeah,
That's
it
the
was.
power of the addiction.
Yeah, he had it bad. When
Smoking a carton in 4 days, he had it bad.
yeah, and the drinking was terrible. I mean, we would be in the car, and he would have like a 7-Eleven cup or something like that, and he wouldn't even tell us, and it'd be like full of bourbon. And so, we get pulled over, we're kind of responsible for that. You know what I mean? And it was just the drinking was, it was bad. And that we didn't know he was going to be like that way. We didn't know that he started something, he went to the extreme, and like we would feel terrible about it because we were kind of wild. And so we probably introduced him to a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? So we all felt like we were responsible when we're finding out years later that it's like, you've never seen him without booze in his cup now, even at school, because we're in high school, not legally able to be drinking or anything at that point. And
booze too.
Yeah, not like he was slipping a little, like he was slipping a little beer into us as a joke. You know what I mean? Like this was like, if it was a clear bottle, it was vodka. You know what I mean? Like that was it. If it was Gatorade, there was probably some clear rum in it. Like there was always alcohol in it. Exactly.
Andrew's got all the props.
It's like I came prepared.
Jesus, man.
What's
Did you
next?
read my mind before this? I didn't even know I was going to be talking about this shit. Jesus. But anyway, so yeah, we felt completely responsible for, and I think it's lessened, but I think it's still there because I see him every once in a while, and I think he's still living that way. And that was that was like a first kind of run in with that kind of stuff, because I didn't really have any sort of alcoholism in my family or anything like that. And then the issues with like my little sister hadn't really started. She wasn't really drinking at that point. So that was kind of my first run in with addictions like that anyway. Okay, so enough about me. Jeff, how was your day, man?
Oh my gosh. My week. I could just talk forever about
Well, you
this.
have 2 minutes.
Okay.
That's why I did this, so that
Last time
way
I
we can cut you off.
And I've got, okay. So the easiest thing that I'm celebrating this week is that the boat that was in my driveway is gone. And that I do feel bad for my daughter. She found somebody giving away a free boat, and there's got to be some issues with it if it was free. But long story short, the trailer, as the guy was pulling away, it fell apart in the street in front of my house. So there was a boat.
I can just imagine that happening.
And you hear this big scraping sound, and it was
I can just see the look on your face, like it's not even angry. It's just kind of a
no. It was panic. It was like,
okay.
Oh shit! There's a boat in the middle of the street. It was there. Yeah. Okay, so
that's your problem now, homie. It's not my property.
You got out of my driveway. You're off my property.
And he was like, he's like, I'm gonna take off. He's like, nothing against you, man. So we got to figure it out.
And he just tore down the street with like the trailer still like attached to his truck.
I had to have somebody come. I had to have the scrapyard come and like have whatchamacallit, flatbed trailer come and take it up. Today has been a day. It's been really good, really good. I had a therapy session, and for the last few months, I have felt like my therapist said that I'm like, my head has been disconnected from my body. I'm not, what are you laughing at? I'm just looking at you. And I had it was really good. The session that I had with her today, I went to a place that was very vulnerable, and I was sobbing during the session. And then I picked up my daughter from school. She could see something was wrong. And we sat in the driveway for an hour, my daughter and I, in a cold car. I pulled up, turned the car off, and we were continuing to talk. Mm-hmm. And I just had like a really, really wonderful conversation with her. So, and then I took a nap. So I feel like rested and like I just let this big weight off my back. So my day has been very good today.
That's awesome.
That's cool. All right, man. Yeah. Good. All right. Well, we're going to hear about everybody else's day when we get back from the break. We got to find you guys again. There's so many windows up that like I hit my button over here on the mixer, and then I look up, and I'm like, I don't even know if they can hear this.
Oh yeah, we can hear it.
Dude, Jeff has so much movement behind him with the cat. It's like mesmerizing. I see like a tail.
Yeah.
In case you haven't noticed, our producer Evan is not here today. He had surgery earlier in the week, and from what we can tell, everything went really well, and he's just at home resting. So we're really happy that the surgery went well. He may be resting, or he may be adding a second coat of paint onto his kitchen that he decided to paint on Thanksgiving.
Just did that on the whim. Keeping busy.
Or he could be listening, laughing, thinking of all the work.
Yeah, he could be listening and going, oh my God, they're a mess without me.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he is kind of the glue that holds this whole thing together.
We kind of need his vibe, man.
Yeah. I saw something that said, if you, especially for the holidays, and this seems to like ring true, if you go over to somebody's house for any sort of, family event or party or anything like that, compliment how their floorboards look. Because that's what their family was cleaning the day before the party. You know what I mean? And that is so true.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
How many times did your mom have you clean some shit that nobody's gonna see? So if you come in and you look at something like that and you're like, you know what, man?
Wow.
The floorboards look great.
Yeah. Your quarter round is kick ass.
Yeah.
That's actually true, especially like if I know my mom's coming over, that's the first thing I got a mop.
Yeah. And not none of that Swiffer bullshit. Like, you got to get the real one out with some pine saw. Those things are so hard to find, like, at the store anymore. Like a real, no, not pine saw, like a real mop. Like a old school, nothing, nothing that squirts or does some crappy stuff, like something that just gets the floor wet with pine saw.
Yeah.
You can't,
I'm looking around, see if I have one nearby.
They sell them, but they're like crappy. I mean, and then you try to get some of the ones, I worked in restaurants and stuff for a long time, so I like those big, real, like the yellow bucket and stuff. Those are like a couple $100 for that.
Wow.
Really?
They can't sell you on the refills with that.
Yeah, but you'd think like Pine Sol or somebody like that would be the ones making it, because then they could turn around and they got to sell you on the... They can sell you on the Mop Heads, though, because you get new Mop Heads.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, at home, I imagine, restaurant. That thing's been there for 20 years. But
Yeah, I know. Back when I was in high school, if I would have known they were worth that much, I would have stolen every single one from
the janitors
from Taco Bell when I was working.
That, and did you guys any of your like janitors or anything at school have those like super wide brooms? Not like the normal push rooms.
Oh yeah,
those things are so cool.
They're like 48 inches, like a double wide.
Go down the hallway once.
Yep. All right, so we got through Jeff's big week, big day. Does anybody else have anything interesting happen this week?
Not interesting. No, I've just been, my daughter's she's stressing about, she's thinking of transferring. I think she's 90% on her decision. So I've just been getting FaceTime calls all day, every day, because the anxiety level is like through the roof with her decision. And it doesn't help when her mom does like stupid things, because like I'm like, do what's best for you, and I just try to help her make the decision without saying anything. Then she sent me a screenshot of the text with her mom, and she's like, Mom, I think I'm going to go to Fisher. There's a college, St. John Fisher. She goes, I think I'm going to go to Fisher. And Mom's like, oh, I really wanted you to go to Pitt. It's like, shut the fuck up. Don't say that. Because then my daughter turned around and she's like, Dad, can you see about scheduling something with Pitt? I'm like, no, yes, if you want me to, I will, but don't do it because Mom said she wants you to go to Pitt. Just do what you want to do.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you're going to go through the effort of changing schools and doing all that, I mean, you should at least go to one you want to go to, not just another one that you kind of don't want to go to. I mean, that defeats the purpose, because then she's going to always be looking at the school she wants to go to, and a couple of years she may end up going there anyway.
We talked several times today, and I told her, I think, because St. John Fisher, for anybody that isn't local, is a local school that's here near where we live. So I told her with the anxiety she's experiencing, the stress that she's experiencing, I think if that's what she wants to do, that's the best decision for her because it'll put her in a comfort zone.
Mm-hmm,
And she can then get herself established with her college career, her grades, focus on her grades, focus on, if Fisher has a cheerleading squad, she can get back into cheerleading.
Mm-hmm.
She can get a part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
Then she'll be comfortable because she's quote unquote home, even though she's living on campus.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to come home. It's a 10-minute drive to come home for dinner. She wants to see a couple of her friends. They're 10 minutes down the road at another college.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her, I think it's good to kind of reestablish herself, focus on her grades. And then if she wants to, in 2 years, if she's like, hey, I'm in a great spot, and now I want to go experience life away from home,
mm-hmm.
transfer in 2 years. She was so stressed the first time when she picked the college she's at now is not super far away. It's like an hour and a half.
Okay.
But she was so super stressed picking that. If anybody knows anything about deadlines for picking college out of high school, the deadline, I forgot what the date was, but it was like a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in their brother or sister or whatever at school had decided where they were going. My daughter told me I think decision had to be sent to the school at 4:00 on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
She tells me at 3:40 PM. It's like, Dad, I think I'm going to go with Canisius. I'm like, okay.
See, that's
how
unnecessary
she was.
bull crap.
Go
And
Golden Griffins.
But I mean, ask somebody who's, possibly 17, probably 18 at that point to sit there. And I just think that's crazy that we ask, and we've all done it. You know what I mean? I think it's crazy because if I look back to who I was at 18, I was a moron, and I'm only
a mess.
I'm only slightly better now. You know what I mean? My experiences as a moron helped me a little bit, but even now, if you were like, well, what school would you go to? I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to figure that out?
Yeah, it's crazy because when you look back at because now Jack, you and I we're in our 30s now. It's like we have a little bit better idea on how we would have done it, and just looking back, I would have done it completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 34. I finished grad school going on 10 years, and I'm still paying student debt. I'm gonna be 40 paying student loans. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I told my daughter. I said, look, even though you're going to a local college, I said, if you want to live on campus, go ahead. That's because I commuted, and trust me, I wish I had lived on campus to get that
college experience.
That experience, the college experience, but also to prepare me for being on my own.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of it, man. I mean, I've seen so many. It used to drive me. I went to, for the first 2 years I was in college, I went to the University of Akron, and
Go
the
Zips.
first year, the first year,
do you know every college?
Yeah,
just about. Yeah,
every D1 school. Yep.
Yeah. The first year we were in the dorms, my roommates and I, and then we moved to off-campus housing. But it drove me absolutely nuts that during the weekends, the whole place would clear out because everybody was going home to have their parents do the laundry and that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And this was free. So it was dude, just throw this shit in the washer. It's not that difficult. You know what I mean? I found out you don't have to separate everything. Right. But it was they were unable to make that kind of disconnect. And I mean, it was a ghost town. And so when we moved into the off-campus housing, we just, the cheap apartments and the terrible parts of the city where you get shot at and that kind of stuff. Yeah. At least those people, they didn't go home. And that was the best time, is on that weekend of being around all these other people that are roughly the same age as you. I'm not even talking about the parties, just hanging out. It was a blast. And it was so surprising to me, the unwillingness of a lot of these kids to even attempt to let go. I mean, I wanted to go home and get mom's cooking as much as anybody, but every weekend, I mean, that's insane. I mean, at that point, just commute, save the money,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm totally on board with what you're saying though, Bob. I think I like the idea, if it were me, of having her kind of stretch her legs out. The safety net's still there, but it's a little further away than if she were just at the house. Plus, then you're not all up. I mean, you guys have a good relationship and stuff, but she's got a little bit of that pull away.
Right. Well, that's what I told her. You've got your privacy. I've got my privacy. But she wants to come home for dinner. She come home for dinner. Mm-hmm. The thing that made me, and it doesn't piss me off anymore. I just had to laugh. Her ex isn't like, she helped move stuff for college. That was all she did.
Mm-hmm.
So now when she's talking transferring, and the ex called me, she's like, you know, if she's going to go to Fisher, which is local, I'm not paying for her to live on campus. I was like, you're not paying for a fucking thing anyway. What? That doesn't matter.
Thank you for that information. I will take it on board.
Yeah.
It's like,
that.
I will note it.
what parent student loan did you sign off on?
Right, right.
Oh.
I think Jeff can relate to that a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
In fact, she just tells you she's not paying for anything, and then she's just going to take the money and go to, where's she at now? She's on vacation now, isn't she?
She's back.
Oh, she's back. Okay, where was she?
Bro.
That would be a whole nother radio show.
It's coming. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until Jeff's in that place, and I'm going to text you all the place where usually right after grocery shopping, where you're realizing that you have no money because it's been taken from you, so somebody can go on a week trip to Florida for no reason. And I'm gonna text you two. And I'm going to go, guys, I know it's 4:00 in the morning, but we're doing VM Live right now. And we're going to come on and we're just going to see Jeff just throwing shit all over the place. And it's going to be great for ratings. You might need to talk to your therapist afterwards, but
that's fine. That's fine. It all works out.
4 a.m. your time will be 1 a.m. my time. I'll still be up.
Good to go. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to kind of bring up today is we've noticed more and more conversations from people from this community that we're going to be referring to, both inside the server and kind of outside the server, in this idea of the manosphere. Now, traditionally, the manosphere itself is usually more misogynistic. That's kind of what they claim it to be. But there are groups within the manosphere that are like us. You know what I mean? We don't tend to. Well, here, before we get into that, Jeff, are we part of the manosphere? Yes or no?
I'd say so.
Okay.
I would, from what I understand about it, I mean, anybody who advocates for men's wellness, I would say, is on that spectrum somewhere.
Okay, cool. Are we part of the red pill movement?
No.
Okay. Are we part of the men going their own way movement?
No.
Are we anti-feminist? Not pro-feminine. Not the answer is not necessarily pro if we're not anti, but yeah, are we anti-feminist? Are we against feminists and women's rights and those kind of things? No.
No.
Okay. So we're not red pill. We're not men going their own way. We're not we're not anti. That's a double negative. And so we're not misogynistic, right? Is what you're saying. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that all you wanted to know, or you want to talk about anything else?
No, that's good. So I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some conversations about that because we have people from all over the place, and there's people that I think join and think that they're going to find an echo chamber, that they're going to be like, yeah, dude, women suck. We're like, I can't wait to bitch about this. But we call, I don't know, I think somebody made a statement about, well, all women, blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember what the statement was a couple of days ago. This was in general chat. Mm-hmm. And one of us said, I think it was me, maybe it was you, Adra, I don't know. So that's just not appropriate to make that kind of a generalization around here. And I think they were kind of stunned, maybe. I think they were surprised that they got called out on that because, even in the general chat where there's no women, we don't tolerate that. We're just, we don't fall on that spectrum.
Yeah, I think it's challenging. You know, I make the joke that, we may hate one woman, but we don't hate all women. You know what I mean? I think, and most of us have gotten
exactly what was said to that person.
And my concern, because my immediate kind of reaction when I see somebody come in and kind of spouting out ideologies right away, there's an age difference. There's one thing for sure, and that may be just part of that might be the way younger people communicate. Part of that might be trying to find your place, but when I see somebody kind of come in immediately and I'm here to help and they start spouting out something, or they tell us what pill that they've taken, I immediately that kind of, my first thought is, I don't want to talk to you. Like, you're not hearing what we're about. And so my issue is trying to find a way to recognize the human in there, and not the ideology. Because we're not red pill. We're not black pill. We're not white pill. Like, we joke that some of us take the blue pill,
Yeah,
it is the little blue pill. Okay. Yeah, it's a prescription. We go to the doctor for it. It's totally okay.
Work well.
It comes in white now.
Oh, it comes in white now?
As well.
Really?
Well, it's a different brand. It's Hims.
Oh, Hims? Oh, yeah.
Hims, yeah.
We should get sponsored by them.
Not that I know,
Yeah. Their business model is brilliant because they do like Viagra, and then they do minoxidil, the hair stuff. And so they just sell that stuff out, but they put it under their own name, and they're like, it's super secret and sexy. And it's like the same shit you get at the drugstore, but you don't have to go talk to a doctor to tell them that your junk's not working. You talk to a doctor on Zoom who's like, okay. And then they write up the prescription and you get it in the mail, and
comes in the mail.
Wow.
Not that I know.
Yeah, just from what he heard.
I didn't know you could do that.
Just like
find out.
Hims, okay.
Yeah, I talked to my doctor about it. Silly me.
Yeah, right. Like a chump.
Like, I gotta go on Zoom.
It's 2021, man. Just a text message.
Where am I at?
You just sit there and you email somebody and you say my dick doesn't work, and then you get pills in the mail. I mean, it's wonderful.
Damn blue pillars.
There are so many pills and so many different kind of variations of these ideologies, but they mainly come down to either just plain old misogyny, or there's something a little deeper with when you get into like the incels and the kind of, but it's weird because it always kind of ends up in the same place, which is different flavors of what is basically hatred towards women, and then also a hatred towards themselves. And I'd like to talk about that a little bit right after the break. Jeffrey's Christmas music.
Jeff's Christmas music.
I know, like this is what Jeff pulls up to, like at Walmart or Christmas shopping.
In his Camry. What kind of car do you have again? A Scion? What is it? A Jetta. That's even worse.
You know that he's now going to be cranking this Christmas morning, and his daughter's going to be like, Dad, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Just going to be sitting in like in a chair with like a cigar and like a Santa hat on, tilted to the side.
Smoke in the background, backlit with like all dark, just kind of very
Billy Bob Thornton's Bad Santa.
Got my scotch, 8 in the morning.
It doesn't count if you've been drinking it since 8 the evening before, the night before.
True.
Then you never
It's
stop.
one sitting still.
Yep.
Yeah, that counts.
Okay. So in incels, we were kind of talking about red pills, and there's no way to go into that. I actually kind of like that I do this on this, because normally I would be like, well, how do I make these transitions? And I've made kind of a point of just making them awkward as hell for the duration of the VM Live. Like, so tell me about those incels.
I do want to say, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to say, when I did see this listed as a possible topic for tonight, and hearing you talk about it, it makes me feel a little bit, as a guy, maybe a little bit out of touch, because I actually had to go before the show. I was Googling like the Manosphere. I didn't even know that word until I read it before I came on the air. And then you said it, and I'm like, oh wait, I just read that today.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
So you're an expert now.
Yeah.
Like red pill. Like, I never heard of any of this stuff. I mean, maybe like vaguely somewhere I heard someone mention red pill, but never heard of any of that until I got in here. And like, even the other day when the guy said I'm a white pillar, I'm like, white pill? What the hell is white pill?
Yeah, I had to look that up.
Me too.
Yeah, I struggle with it, and part of it is an age thing. Because I'm still of the generation of people that's like, well, it's on you. You know what I mean? Instead of blaming everyone else, which is, it seems like that's where a lot of that comes from. I mean, there's a legit anger, there's a legit hurt, there's legit pain there that I don't think we need to be invalidating. But
yeah,
you know, the kind of the common belief among a lot of these is that I think they call it like the 80-20 rule, which is where like 80% of the women will only date 20% of the guys. And to be one of that 20%, you have to be good looking, have a good job, be in shape, be rich, you know, the stuff that you kind of hear floating around a lot. And it's come up on the server quite a few times. And one of the things, like I get that concept, you know, but one of the things that we would do or tend to do, if that was true, is, you know, is we would work to make ourselves more appealing. And, you know, if you're, you know, you can't control how tall you are, you know what I mean? But there are things within your control. And I'm of the generation still that was like, well, then fix those things. Like, not just for women, but like for yourself. Like, if you get a better job, it'll, you know. But there seems to be kind of an inherent belief that if you don't agree, you're wrong. And that's the thing that really ticks me off, is that there have been discussions in the server where you'll have one person saying one thing and then like 10 other people of different nationalities, of different, you know, cultures, of different like 1 to 10 how we look scale, of different like 1 to 10 how much money we make scale. You know, we have all these different things, life experiences, all these things. And there's not a willingness to listen. It's I want to spout this out and I want somebody to agree with me. You know, and I've actually heard people a couple of times say this, don't invalidate my experience. You know, they don't, or they say that while they're invalidating everybody else's. And it's, you know, your experience, you're either an outlier to the statistics.
Oh, right.
Or you're wrong.
You're an exception. You're
an exception to the rule.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, then we have a weird group of exceptions to the rule.
Exceptions here.
And there's an unwillingness to listen. There's an unwillingness to be open to the possibility that it may be not just the world's fault. I mean, it's a lot easier to blame the world than to look inward. You know what I mean? Yep. It's a lot easier to. And there seems to be an unwillingness to do that. And there also, in my opinion, it's a lot of people that don't have the experience to know. You know, I see a lot of, and these people are no longer with the server. They tend to burn themselves out pretty quickly on their own. I mean, we don't need a lot of them. We haven't gotten to the point where they've said something crazy and we have to boot them. Like I think, see the writing on the wall, you know, because we're open to conversations, but when it starts to be, let's just insult people, that's not what we're here for. But it seems to be a lot of people who don't have any experience or very little experience telling people what it should be like and what it is like. And that, I don't know if you guys have had that or felt it or heard it.
Oh,
you know,
I've seen it. Yeah.
And that, go ahead, Bob.
I would say what gets me, and obviously I'm one of the older guys in the server, but I'm on all the social medias. So it's not like I'm out of touch with anything, but what surprises me...
on all the social medias and all the internets and stuff.
What surprises me, though, is like these guys that come in are like, they're talking about, oh, I saw this on Reddit. Like, well, yeah, but that Reddit doesn't represent real life. You're looking at something that someone created because they're mad at their ex and decided they hate all women, and you're buying into what this one person said, this community they created that now has maybe 3,000 members, which you say, oh, 3,000, but I mean, how many billions of people are in the world? And you're looking at a Reddit thing that has 3,000 people, and it seems like they're believing it, they're buying into it. And I just don't get that. I just don't understand.
I think it's similar in psychology, like psychologically, to, you know, conspiracy theories and that kind of stuff. And a lot of them have a lot of overlap with these people, because it's Reddit, it's 4chan, you know, there are these echo chambers, and I don't know, like probably block, you know, or do it on your friend's computer so you won't get in trouble. But like 4chan's actually pretty safe to go to, but go to 4chan sometime and read some of the stuff. And from an outsider, you're like, holy shit, like how there are lizard people? Like, what are you talking about? You know? But it's kind of like if you in poker, if you make a big bet, you know, you make a big gamble right off the top, you're kind of stuck in that hand no matter what. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so when these people buy into a couple of the ideas, they get swooped in, and then they have this blinder to the facts or to the realities, you know, of what's really going on out there. And, you know, I'm not saying that there aren't major issues with, you know, men's rights in the courts, you know. I'm not saying,
tell me about it.
Right. I'm not saying that there are ways that we're treated unfairly in a lot of situations. I'm not saying that. None of us are saying that. But like somebody posted something today that wasn't really men. It was just men have it bad, you know. And one of the things that got brought up in this big long Reddit dialogue was that, did you know that men are, you know, also, I don't remember what the statistic was, but a large number of men have been sexually assaulted and that kind of stuff, which is 100% true, you know, but they failed to mention the other side of that story, which is a lot of the men who have been sexually assaulted have been sexually assaulted by men.
Yeah.
You know, men are the victims of a lot more shootings, stabbings, etc. But the majority of the time they're getting shot by or stabbed by men. Men are, if somebody's going to be like hate crimes and that kind of stuff, you know, again, that happens from, you know, so it's not telling the whole story. And I'm not man bashing at all here, but it's just showing that how they can skew the statistics, you know, to make it a men versus women, when I'm not entirely sure that's the argument that should be had. You know,
no, and it's so strange to me when a lot of these conversations happen, because it's like they're spewing hate towards something, but in the same token are trying to obtain that thing, right? So it's like they're hating they're hating on women, but they want to find a girlfriend or wife, right?
Yeah.
So like that just makes like no sense to me. And they're telling, and like they're repeating ideas and experiences that are not their own. You know, it's like I don't see what the outrage is for certain things of that nature that have not happened to you. You know, it's like, you know, like people constantly in there bring up how much women cheat, you know, but they've never been like cheated on, right? And so, and that one hits home to me, right?
Me too.
Yeah, to a lot of us in here. And it's like, you know, it's like you hate women because they cheat, but they haven't cheated on you. And you're just kind of regurgitating someone else's ideas, right?
It's
They're
tough.
not your own.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like we sit here and we say that, yes, we vent. You know, we have a section kind of for venting, like we vent. But they seem to not understand, well, I'm just venting. And it's like, well, there's a difference. Like when Adro, when you're venting about a specific situation or something that happened to you. It's like they come in, it seems like they're looking for a reason to be ticked off, you know, and they come on and they, you know, somebody posted a whole bunch of things. They asked in the server a while ago, what do you think about Romeo and Juliet? And I'm like, I mean, it's a good story. It's not Shakespeare's best work, but you know, it's Romeo and Juliet.
Reading it in high school. Right. What's up?
What is the problem? You know, well, you know, should people die for love? And it's like, well, remember, first of all, this is a story. They were 14, you know, like, so they were stupid kids, you know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of other factors in this story that were not, you know, and we shouldn't base it on real life. You know, and then so, but my opinion was, you know, people do die for love. Should they? No. Like we shouldn't live in a world where people die from love. But do they? Yes. And am I one of those people, you know, that would die for love? I don't know, because I haven't like had to make that choice, but I'd like to think so. I'm a romantic at heart. I believe that if there's one reason to die, that's a good one, you know. And then in another channel, but then in another channel, he puts up a whole bunch of posts about people who have committed suicide after their girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with them. And that's supposed to be connected. And I'm like, well, that's not dying for love.
No, it's not.
Oh.
That's murdering yourself. Like there are various reasons of what that is, but that's not the same thing. You know what I mean? Like that's, and then his rant that was in a different channel was like a little sliver of what that meant. You know what I mean? They start real big and then kind of, and it takes us hours, days to kind of get down to, you know, they go from all women are terrible to this little thing of like, I'm kind of nervous to talk to this girl. You know, what do I do here?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but come to talk to us about that first. And then you give them kind of examples. And so one guy asked about that. So I'm like, all right, man, well, talk to her about her interest. Ask her what she likes, like normal crap that like we all kind of inherently know. And then that gets turned into a giant thing about how
interests.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you older guys don't know what it's like. We have a lot of interests and they change. And it's like, first of all, dude, all the shit that you pay attention to, millennials invented. So how about that? But then, you know, like if you think my interests haven't changed over 33 years, then I'd still be watching Barney right now. You know, I'm not asking you to memorize their interest. I'm saying on the first date, if you don't know what to say, ask her what she likes. It's not rocket science. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you got to do. That's it. Yeah. And some of these, it feels like they're trying to pick fights where there don't need to be to prove a point that doesn't need to be made when all I need is help, which they refuse to get.
Yeah.
And we aren't.
And then there was a guy, I don't know if it was the same one you're talking about. There was another guy in the server and he was talking about the interests. So it might've been the same one, but he was saying like, it seemed like he was saying, we have to have the guy and the girl have to have the same interests. Like, no, she can do her thing. You don't have to spend 24/7 together. Like for me, I want my partner to have other interests. I want her to be able to like go out with the girls and go do stuff while I go out with the guys and do stuff.
For sure.
We don't have to have the same interests and be doing everything together.
Yeah, that was a different convo. I think that one was in the public chat, but yeah, it was interesting that it also got brought up.
It was an extension. It was all an extension of kind of the original conversation, and yeah, but I guess, and we can't answer this question tonight. And I think over time we're going to have to try to think of it. Maybe bring some people in that are specialists in this stuff. You know, when we started all of this, we were all of a different age group, but we all kind of had that mindset that our problems are our problems. We don't connect our problems and our situations with societies. We don't look for patterns that may or may not be there. And it seems like a lot of the people that have been coming in recently are coming in with problems that they've never had, with opinions about said problems that they've never had, you know. And then they're telling us what to do instead of... But I don't know. I'm not trying to say it's a better or worse thing, but like when I would join a group, you know, it's like you don't need to come in and make your mark immediately. You know, we're a community first. You know, Jeff, we were joking around about that, and would be like if I came in and to a group therapy session and was like, because the one guy, he had some big link about, it was a 2.5 hour long podcast he expected us all to listen to.
Oh, yeah.
And if I came into a therapy group and was like, and they came around to me and I'd go, here's a podcast that I want you guys all to listen to.
Be back tomorrow when somebody else summarizes it for me.
Right, and then somebody did, and that guy deserves a VM medal. So this conversation itself is far, far from over. Yeah. I think we're going to have different variations of it. I think it's important to point out that while we've made some jokes and had a little bit of fun at it, it's we're not trying to judge. We want to help these guys as much as we can. We want to help any man as much as we can. We're just scratching our heads, trying to figure out how to do it, and that's going to take a lot of work on our part. And we'll be figuring it out over the next couple of months, because this is clearly something that isn't going to go away. That's the end of the show. That one went by quick.
That was good.
We've been talking a lot about the server tonight. Anyone over the age of 18 is welcome to join us, where we have moderated discussions on men and men's mental health. Keep up to date with all the great stuff going on at Visible Man by checking us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. You can watch these videos now on YouTube and Facebook, I think. There was something else. The Movember updates. You'll be able to see some of that stuff on Instagram. It's pretty funny. So we'll get the
Very
before,
fun.
during, after pictures. The website's temporarily being worked on, but hopefully by the time you hear this, it'll be up. That's visibleman.org. Once again, thank you to everybody for listening. This is Jack Rollins reminding you that vulnerability is the ultimate demonstration of strength. Cheers.